In a world full of Xenoverses, Kakarats, and fighters, a game like Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure seems like an afterthought, especially since it's a game that takes place in the most underrated portion of the Dragon Ball series, the original Dragon Ball. Advanced Adventure is a side-scrolling platformer, beat-em-up hybrid with a bit of fighting game mixed in that was released in the US in 2006, almost a year and a half after it released in Japan. God damn, that's an assload of time for localization. This would be the first ever original Dragon Ball game to be released in the US, if you don't count the completely reworked Dragon Power for the NES. I mean, it's crazy that the Dragon Ball dub ended in 2003 on Toonami, and it took this amount of time to get a game out that represented this part of the series. But be that as it may, Advanced Adventure is a damn fine game, and it really stands apart from other games in the Dragon Ball series that is littered with countless fighting games. I spoke about this extensively in my Kakarot review, and it bears a bit of repeating. If there's something the Dragon Ball video games lack, it's originality, and the desire to branch out and take on different genres. Playing a Dragon Ball game that promotes exploration is a pleasure because there's still the signature fighting that the Dragon Ball franchise is known for, but it sets itself apart, and that's exactly what Advanced Adventure does. So we talked about another original Dragon Ball game previously, Revenge of King Piccolo for the Wii, and while I greatly enjoyed it, Advanced Adventure is superior and plays better. I mentioned this quite a bit back in that video, and I'll leave a card here in case you missed that one so you can go back and have a look-see. I also like how the game doesn't skip as much of the story as Revenge of King Piccolo does, since that game started you off in the Red Ribbon Army saga, completely skipping Goku's training for the World Martial Arts Tournament, the tournament itself, and his first encounter with Emperor Pilaf, and you get all of that and more in Advanced Adventure, even getting the chance to battle Oolong in his transformed forms, and getting to enter the Cave of Darkness instead of just having Korin lazily hand the Ultra Divine Water to you. Plus, you get to explore Pilaf's castle as well, which is a fantastic level. How is it that a handheld game has this much more content than a Wii game? Okay, well, it might not have fancy 3D graphics, but what does that have to do with key moments being cut? The only glaring omission from Advanced Adventure is when Goku becomes a teen and battles Piccolo Jr., but overall they did a very good job encompassing Goku's exploits, and it's a very good representation of the game. And what is not told through the gameplay can be seen in various cutscenes, both which take place in level or with still frames with art from the anime. They made several omissions, but nothing too major, and what was omitted can definitely be understood why it didn't make the cut. Speaking of graphics, Advanced Adventure has a hell of an art style going for it, and the sprite work is simply beautiful. I love how this game looks, it's truly a work of art. And let's talk about this gameplay. It's tremendous. I really like this combat, and it's so satisfying to attack enemies, whether it's twirling your power pole around to take out a bunch of goofballs, or letting a mighty Kamehameha wave rip, alongside some really quality sound effects that really add to the satisfaction of combat, and they even went the extra mile of adding in voice clips for good measure, which is a nice touch.
My work here is done. I did it!
Pair this up with exploration and some nice platforming challenges, and you'll even take a step away from the beat 'em up format, and you'll take a ride through the skies on Nimbus, and even fighting in a fighting game style in certain boss fights and in the World Martial Arts Tournament bouts. And for these, it's pretty cool how the controls and gameplay morph into a fighting game style, and movement even feels different. It's simplistic, and you can't even use your power pole, but it's still cool knocking your opponent into the air and giving them a shellacking. And what's this? Who does Goku think he is, Tails? You can also do one-on-one fights in this style outside the world tournament levels, and match up any fighters you want, which is pretty cool. It's no Dragon Ball FighterZ, of course, but it's still fun, even if you can only pick certain characters. It's pretty cool to pick King Piccolo and just lay into your opponents. One element of the main gameplay I really love is how Goku can use his power pole to assist with platforming hurdles. This is another example of just how well put together this game is. The animations are so smooth and well done, it's truly a pleasure to see. You'll also have the option of collecting treasures throughout the stages for some future unlockables, so you'll have more of an incentive to explore the stages. I really enjoy the level design like the Cave of Darkness. It's a labyrinth of tunnels and you'll need to traverse them correctly to advance throughout the stage, and you'll even battle against evil versions of Yamcha and Krillin instead of just fighting Master Roshi like in the anime. I kinda wish they added the icy portion outside the cave like what is seen in the anime. I think that would have been a really nice aesthetic to have. There's also some really fantastic music in the game as well, and damn, that boss music slaps hard. There's not a shred of licensed music from the actual anime, and quite frankly, I'm not too broken up about it, because this happens quite frequently in Dragon Ball games, even to this very day, and usually the original music is pretty good, and that's thankfully the case here. They did a good job of making the music fit Dragon Ball and not make it sound too general like it could have been in a DBZ game, for example. No, they actually made it sound more charming and whimsical to really capture the feel of the anime and the proceedings in general. When you finish the game's story mode, you will unlock Krillin and can go through the game again, and the extra mode becomes unlocked as well. And can I just say, this smug expression on Krillin's face in his health bar portrait just makes his playthrough with him worth it alone. He's like, yeah, you know you like playing as me, loser. In the extra mode, you'll find additional treasures, character portraits, and the Dragon Balls, which were locked inside the mysterious doors you'll find throughout the story mode. But now, in extra mode, they're open and ready to be entered. Once you get all the Dragon Balls, you'll be able to play as the characters you collected the portraits of. And there is a whopping 27 characters. Add in Goku and Krillin to the figure, and you have a crazy 29 total characters to choose from, and this is just damn! Now, this is how you do post-game content. I mean, giving these characters their own movesets and unique feel is just a level of commitment to making a game as great as it possibly can be that you just don't see anymore in games. And quite frankly, this level of detail is even startling to see even from a game at this time. Jesus Christ, take some notes, you lazy ass 30 gigabyte patch developers out there. This is a Game Boy Advance game, a portable game, so you really wouldn't expect this on a platform that's known for having more disposable shit than most, which is mostly always the case with handhelds. But the developer Dimps put their heart and soul into making a tremendous game. You can play as Grandpa Gohan, Mercenary Tao, and even the fucking camera robot. Wow, this is just incredible, really. Yes, getting all the Dragon Balls and finding all the portraits is definitely time consuming and can take several hours, but it's certainly a fitting reward for your efforts, and how many games can you really say that about? How many games reward you with a big bag of absolutely nothing, or something lame like concept art or a sound test for breaking your ass looking for the hidden crap strewn throughout the levels of a game? Far too many to count, I'm afraid, but Advanced Adventure breaks that mold and gives you something substantive and something fantastic. I also really enjoyed the unlockable Small Fry Fight minigame, which sees you battling your way through waves of enemies in a condensed version of the final level. And there's even a more difficult version available without a timer. Wow, just wow. Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure is a fucking phenomenal Dragon Ball game and video game in general. It is a jam-packed game, and although it is a short one, it definitely found a way to make it replayable, and that's something I'm all for. You don't need an overly long, dragged-out game to justify a purchase. You also run the risk of wearing out the player. I much rather play a shorter, more satisfying, and actually good game that gives me adequate reasons to keep on playing even after the credits have rolled. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you ever played Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure? Is it something that you're interested in playing now that you have seen it if you haven't already? And please subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bells to get all notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this video today. And please hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and hit the dislike button if you fucking hated it. And I would appreciate any donations that you could give on Patreon. And I want to thank all my subscribers for your continued support, and everyone who watched today. And guys, I'll see you next time.